What the fuck is going on? Am I streaming? Am I not streaming? Sorry, I'm trying to stream through something different right now, which is making things very, very, very complicated. So I need you guys to let me know whether or not the stream is working, because this is weird. And once you know, let me know, because I'm concerned. Anyway, hope it works. You see me. Wait, cool. Right, so what I'm basically doing is a slightly different form of streamy thing. Typically, when I've done streams about videos that I'm going to be making going forwards, it is a case of I will do the stream and then I will edit it down after the fact. And that is great, and that is fun, and that is lovely. But I'm doing something a little bit different this time. What I am doing this time is I am streaming through OBS. What mic is this? This is my normal mic, I believe. It should be. Is the mic having problems? Okay, is this a little bit better? This should be better. Was it bad before? My thinking is it was bad before. It's this one. It was accidentally doing this one. I got confused. I confused all of my settings. Well done, me. Okay, cool. We're back. So what I'm going to do, in the stream, we're going to have a little bit of a general transfery chat. But I've got two little fun bits of transfer news and stuff to discuss. I will do them for videos, do the video recordings. I will pop them out, and that'll be very nice. What the latest on me? I don't know. That's up to how you're doing, Sam C, isn't it, really? What is the latest on ye? I can't tell you. Anyway. So what I'm going to do is I am going to get this recording in a second, because first we got a little bit of... You're right, Dr. Cox. We've got a little bit of a discussion on Jack Harrison bits. Then we've got something on goalkeeper bits, and then it's just going to be an open, flowing conversation about whatever else we can think of talking about, which is good and important to have. It is confusing things, because for some reason OBS is having a time of it, but if something goes wrong, I will just do a different stream. I will redirect you guys to a better stream, but it'll be fine. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the record button now. There we go, fan Debbie Dozy, and that should be fine. So, getting into it. Transfers are domino runs. After all, one move leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, and that flows and that flows and that flows, and eventually you get to a place where the move that you are waiting to happen happens, and everyone is happy sometimes, but this time a single transfer move could undo some pretty big transfers that Leeds United had sorted in the past and thought that we were all done with, because Jack Harrison may be returning to Leeds United, and not too many people are super happy about it. So in this little bit of a video recording that I'm going to do, I'm also live streaming this, so if you see me live, you might catch the stuff in my videos a little bit early. But we're going to talk about what's happening elsewhere, why this could move Harrison to Leeds, the financial impact at Elland Road, whether or not he fits in the squad, if he'd be welcome back, and exactly what comes next. So, first up, we need to talk about what's happening elsewhere, and what is happening elsewhere is Jayden Philogene went from Hull to Aston Villa in the summer, thinking in theory he's going to get some minutes. Clearly, he's not gotten as many as he wanted, and now there is talk about him moving on loan from Aston Villa to Everton. However, Everton, as we know, already have some loan players on wide areas doing the wing stuff. So this brings up its own completely different question of what happens to Jack Harrison, because he's not necessarily been getting the minutes that he wants. I'm going to have a very quick search for exactly how many minutes Jack Harrison has been getting, but I can absolutely promise you it's not what he's hoping for. For some reason, FBref looks rather broken for me. Let's have a quick search. This season so far, he's started 11 matches, played in 17, but he's got 10 90s. He's very much a bit part player there at the minute. And this likely moves Jack Harrison to Leeds, because Everton, as we know, are not financially in the most secure of positions. Yes, they're moving into a new stadium and that'll earn them tons of revenue. They're not there yet. And in addition to that, you've got limits on wage budgets, you've got limits on loan places, and since you've got limits on minutes, and Jack Harrison very clearly isn't doing the job there, there is a very, very high chance, according to The Athletic, that Everton will end their loan deal for Jack Harrison, which is probably not ideal for Leeds United, and I'm going to assess a few of the reasons why. The first of which is the financial impact that it will have at Elland Road, which is not good. Jack Harrison is not on a low wage. The reason he went to the Premier League is so he could avoid the wage drop that comes with going down to the Championship, because we made that contract that said, okay, cool, your wage will drop unless you go out on loan, in which case you'll keep your money, it'll just be paid to you by another club. In theory, Everton end that, someone needs to be paying his wages, and it's not Everton anymore because they don't have a contract with him anymore. The club that comes down to is Leeds United. In addition to that, there's a question around whether he'd fit in the squad. You've got to consider the amount of wingers that we've got. We've got Dan James, very good winger. Largi Ramazani, very good winger. Plays primarily on the left. Mana Solomon, very good winger, plays primarily on the left. You're getting the picture. Willie Nonto, excellent winger, plays, you guessed it, on the left. Where does Jack Harrison play? Jack Harrison plays out on the left-hand side. As Robert Price has said in the live stream, he won't get in the Leeds side at the minute. He wouldn't fit in the slightest, which is a problem for all parties except Everton, who get a better winger. Jack Harrison is going to a club that don't want him, and let's be honest, he wouldn't be welcome back. Twice, Daniel Farke has said, if you want to be at the squad, you can stay here. That'd be brilliant. And both times Jack Harrison said, no, you know what, I'm going to go out on loan to Everton. And even after the first season, when we looked very, very promising, like we could do something, he went out on loan and figured, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stay on loan at Everton. This was after not being super promising for them last season either. 3 goals, 3 assists. If he wanted to make that big leap forwards in his career, he would have done it by now. And it feels very much to me like Jack Harrison will not be welcomed back. By the fans, by the club, by the leadership. I mean, think of the way that fans look at it. We weren't very happy with Brandon Aronson, who spent a season away because he was offered Champions League football. Jack Harrison was offered a season of football at Everton, went out, was shit, and then went again. He's not even got the foundation of being welcomed back. And yeah, sure, if he scored 17 goals in the second half of the season, people would love him, but I don't see that being at all feasible. That's a good point as well. Frank in the chat saying his mum had a lot to say. Yeah, he seemingly hated it at Leeds. So for me, that turns into a question of what comes next. And for me, that in itself is a further problem. It's a question of, well, for Jack Harrison, he doesn't want to be here. For Leeds United, we don't want him here. So if he does come back, we need to find him another loan. Because I don't see anyone taking him permanently unless it's a club owned by idiots. Maybe there's potential for some of the sides at the bottom of the Premier League to want him, such as an Ipswich, but I'll be honest, I would take Jack Clarke over Jack Harrison at the minute. Maybe an argument for Leicester, but they seem happy with Buonanotte. Wolves, perhaps. Not looking likely, and he's not going to want to go to Southampton. So you're running out of clubs that would want to sign him. And if we register him at all at any stage, if he's sent back before the FA Cup match, for example, we can't play him because you can't play for more than 2 clubs in the same season. And whilst Dr. Cox in the chat has noted that Bowen's injured, they've played Somerville out there on the left wing. So if you're Jack Harrison, do you really want to go to be behind Crescencio Somerville in the pecking order? Because Crescencio Somerville in the last game that he played for them was very, very good for West Ham. He was their man of the match. So it's definitely a tough one. And he's not someone that's going to be willing to play in the Championship because he's had that offer 2 years in a row in which we said, no, okay, fine, you can give the Championship a shot. And he clearly doesn't want to give the Championship a shot, which is the issue here. Because at the end of the day, he'd have a decision to make. And his decision, I don't feel, is going to be Leeds United. So what comes next on Leeds' side is, A, don't register him. Don't even consider it. Because that's not worth our time. B, loan him out as soon as we can. And I know it's not necessarily easy to find loans for players, but if we don't loan him out, then we've just got someone sitting, leeching off the wage bill. And the wage bill is already pretty big for a Championship club. And if we don't take those steps, I think we could be in genuine, actual problems. which is not where we want to be, financially and in terms of registration. But at the end of the day, as always, that is all just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, or if you're watching live in the chat. If you enjoyed, please subscribe, that's always really appreciated. Like, comment, all that kind of stuff. You could even become a channel member if you fancy. It's 99p for a month and you get videos like this one early, unless you watched the live stream, obviously, in which case you would just watch the live stream all over again. And yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later. Remember when we all liked Jack Harrison? This is a good point, though. Dr. Cox has noticed that he's the only way he can see it is if Solomon gets recalled by Spurs. Also a good note, but there's a chance that Everton just end the contract anyway. Bloody Jack Harrison, man. What an irritating man. See you later. And that's the first recording, and I don't know what the quality of that recording is. I'm not convinced it's going to be the highest of quality of recordings, which is a little bit of an issue. But that's fine, you know. I do need to find this live stream on my own YouTube channel just so I can ping a Discord. Where are we? This one, copy. No, I don't want to hear myself. Cool, well dealt with, very, very quickly. That's over there. Cool, that's pinged over there, and this is going to be pinged over to here. But yeah, how are we all feeling on the Jack Harrison thing? Because I'm a little bit confused about it. Have you seen Connor's video on Adam Pope's Leeds statement, no more players in? I haven't. That's very weird, because I feel like we're almost certainly going to get some more players in. It feels like no one would be absolutely wild. I've not seen what Popey said. But let's have a look. Still expecting a quiet window. Good chance that Gelhardt goes out on loan, but will depend somewhat on the extent of hamstring injury. That's not what he said at all. I see. Yeah, but that doesn't mean no more players in. A quiet window doesn't mean nobody. A quiet window means potentially someone. Like, quiet, there's various definitions of quiet, which is odd. Adam Pope and a quiet window, yeah. Right, which microphone is that recording from? Okay, that's recording the right one, I think. You guys are going to see the fun behind the scenes for a moment. Hold on. There we go. Welcome to Google Chrome. Settings, audio is the quadcast. Hey, there we go. Right, back to full screen. Bosh. Haha, you've been in a streaming software all this time. Connor believes nobody in, he's panicking. I mean, I kind of see the panic, but I'm not that worried. I think we'll be okay. Like, maybe... Yeah, being quiet doesn't mean that there's nothing, to me. It means that, yeah, maybe it's less than everyone wants it to be, because there's 4 or 5 different players that everyone wants, and we're not going to get all of them, but that's just sort of normal. That's how transfer windows work. It's okay. But I have seen something on goalkeeping things, and that is what the second little video that I'm recording is going to be about. I just need to quickly edit this one and put it up. If they said silent, yeah, silent is different to quiet, which is a very fair point. All right, one sec, I just need to listen to myself speak for a minute. Cut that there, bosh, bosh. Nice. And that, and that. Cool, publish. Harrison. What I'm going to do right now as well, this is fun. Somebody's coming in, Jack Harrison. Oh, well, we don't need to say that yet. I think if he does, we'll find a move easy enough. But I actually think it's 39's keeping business on the down low. I think the same, yeah. And I've heard similar that says it's the same. I don't think it's a case of we're not going to do anything, because that would be madness. Jack Harrison could see a potential return to Daniel Farke's Leeds United. No, because I've used Leeds United, LUFC side in the coming weeks. Do you know how good the young keeper is from Australia? I think the young keeper is very, very decent from what I've learned. He had interest from multiple other clubs, including Scum. And the fact that we've signed him is quite nice. But on the topic of people thinking that we potentially don't have enough, I'm going to take a little bit of a dip into it. Is FFP a factor in this? I mean, potentially yes, as much as Dr. Cox is saying no. Because we know that FFP isn't in the healthiest of situations at the minute. At the minute, FFP is not good because a lot of the sales that we made in the summer were for the sake of fix things, because all of the auto signings were very, very deferred payments on the assumption that we stay in the Premier League. If only we'd learned a lesson about deferred payments on the assumption that we'd stay in a specific league. Annoying. Right, let's get that uploaded. I've not even uploaded that with a full title, but cool. The Jack Harrison video is on the way up now. But in the meantime, before I've even uploaded the first video, I'm going to record a second video for you guys. I know, it's great, it's wonderful. And I hope you guys enjoy, because I like making videos for you folks, you fine amigos. Because it's just a nice time. I'm very familiar in what kind of backlash I'll get from the fans. He's a young kid of 24, it might break him. Yeah, people forget that he's still, for goalkeepers, incredibly young. So Scum showed interest in the youngster, but they didn't want him. It's a weird case, I think. But he had trialled at Leeds prior, so it's not a case of we've seen someone that Scum are interested in and we've gone, oh, shiny, and not considered the fact that they don't want them. It's a, he's been on trial here, so we'll see. Danny, that thing that you're saying there depends entirely on the specifics that you want to do for that transfer. So I imagine we front-loaded a lot of the deal to try and fix our FFP problems based on backloaded incoming players in the past. We do have many loan spots, though, that is true. But then again, you still need to pay wages to loan players. Anyway, we've got another bit of recording to do, which apparently... Oh, God, I've got such crunchy bones. StreamYard is not liking the quality of my face at the minute, which is a shame. So I'm going to do it a different way. Yeah, I'm going to do it a different way. That'll be fine. So if I start recording here, there we go. Cool. And we're going. Ish. But for this one, it's going to come up with various things in the chat, so behave. Or say hi, YouTube, or something along those lines. That'd be quite nice. Leeds United have a little bit of a goalkeeping issue, and thankfully, to be fixing it, they do seem to be eyeing up a move for a player that I'll talk about in the coming minutes. But there are a lot of questions surrounding it, and a lot of those questions involve facing the facts about Ilham Meslier, which, again, we'll get into in a couple of minutes' time. But the general gist of this is that Leeds United have made an inquiry for a very, very promising young goalkeeper who is playing regular football at his club, decent levels of standard and all that kind of stuff, and is looking like to be a very, very good signing for Leeds United. His name is Noel Törnqvist at Mjölby, plays in the Swedish First Division. I think it's the Allsvenskan, I think it's called, but that's off the top of my head, not even reading it because I didn't think to bring up the name of the league. But he's playing very, very decent stuff. He's a regular in their first 11, which is always a very, very nice sign. And he's still a very young player. He's 22 years of age, very strong prospect, and we're not the only ones that are taking a look at the guy. He's got interest from both Leeds United, which is very good because, cool, it's nice that we're interested in a player that we want to sign. but also the likes of Fulham. And Fulham, we know in recent years, have been very, very good at acquiring players and either selling them on for profit or using them to solidify themselves in the Premier League. Fulham right now are not a side that sign players and end up in relegation dogfights. That's just not what they do. They are too well run for that at the minute. We do seem to be in a little bit of a position of advantage because we can offer them a route to the first team, because obviously we don't really have any first team goalkeepers at the minute. But at the same time, it's not just he's a good player that might cost us a bomb. He's affordable and very clearly of a decent standard because he's being watched by clubs from all over the shop, which is fantastic. However, you got a couple of little concerns. Mjolby, for example, are under no pressure to sell him during the season. I've been chatting to someone who is relatively close to the club, and they seem financially very, very sound, which becomes a little bit of a threat in and of itself. But there are some pretty big questions surrounding the specific timing of the move. And this is where I say we have to sort of acknowledge a bunch of realities around Illan Meslier and the future of goalkeeping at Leeds United. We need to start to face the facts. And as someone that has been turned around in the most recent weeks based on what's happened with Illan Meslier, this is one that I might have to potentially admit in this one. First up, we need to discuss the fact that transfers are very much two-sided things. As much as Leeds United are saying, cool, let's sell our goalkeeper. That's nice. Who are we going to sell him to? Because whilst it's all well and good saying, well, we'll sell him and we'll get this much money, you can't just do that. One, you need to want to sell the player. That part, cool. All of the fans seem to want rid of him. That's a beginning. Part two, you need Illan Meslier to want to go. Illan Meslier is currently on a fairly hefty sum of money because former Premier League player, same contract, it'll have a wage reduction within it, but it's still not necessarily going to be enough for clubs to say, no, you know what, we'll take that gamble. And then three, you need another club to want to make the move. And in recent months, has Meslier done enough to want other clubs to do that? Yeah, sure. You might be able to find some clubs in France that say, look, he's still very young. Could be very good to have him in his home country so he can be a little bit more comfortable and develop over here and become a very good goalkeeper by the time he's in his late 20s. But you do sort of need a buyer. And especially one that is going to, at the very least, give us some financial wiggle room. Yeah. The assumption is keeper from Mjolby is just going to be a couple of £1 million or euros. But at the same time, you need to get that from somewhere else to make it more financially viable. In addition to that, he's not exactly the most sellable asset right now. If you're a club anywhere in Europe that is fighting for something, that isn't just sitting in mid-table mediocrity, it's going to be very hard to make the argument that, yeah, £8 to £12 million on Illan Meslier is a very good investment for us because he's not exactly made himself a sellable asset, which is not good for us, to be completely clear. In addition to that, there is a reason we've got backups. There's a reason we've been paying Carl Darlow a wage for the last year and a half, because if Illan Meslier were to get injured and be unavailable and not selected for the first team, presumably Carl Darlow is sitting there saying, okay, cool, I can fill in that gap. What, in your opinion, does the morale look like in the squad if you are Carl Darlow and you've been told train really hard and you can be our first team keeper, and then before you've even had a chance to show yourself in the FA Cup, we've signed someone else? You're going to be livid, especially if you're in the position where you've got your Wales teammates around you who also play for your national team, and you can have conversations with them saying, I've been training my arse off and I've been replaced by some kid from Sweden who has never played in the Championship before. In Darlow's position, you'd be pissed. And that affects the morale of the entire squad, so you need to consider the squad dynamics at the same time. In my opinion, when it comes to Illan Meslier, a sale looks relatively long-term. A sale looks like it would come in the summer. It doesn't feel like it is something that is in the very short-term future for us. And it feels like, as a result of that, any replacements that we do sign would be in the summer, because there are barely any Premier League clubs that have 4 goalkeepers on the books. never mind in the Championship. So, in my opinion, I think Tornqvist is a very, very promising goalkeeper, but if he does sign, I don't see it being in January. I think that would be an issue for squad morale. I think it'd be hard to get done practically in terms of getting Meslier out of the door. I think it'd be very, very difficult for us to get him away from Mjolby because they are currently competing for a European spot and they don't have any initial pressure to sell. And in addition to all of that, there are the questions that have been brought up in the comments. You've likely seen them rolling up, I guess. I thought they were going down, but it seems like they're going up. You've likely seen them pushing up through the screen around various sort of ex-player from Argentina sort of thing, who is 30-odd years old and an international. That feels a bit Caldalo-y to me. I personally wouldn't sign someone from Argentina to come in for a few months before we sign someone bigger for the long term when we're in the Premier League. Which honestly, I'll be honest with you, I think Tornqvist could be that. I think we sign him, he develops under someone else, and then becomes a long-term option as a goalkeeper. But I think if we do sign someone in January, it won't be Tornqvist anyway. I don't see us signing someone in January as a goalkeeper, to be clear. But even if we do, I doubt it'll be Tornqvist. But at the end of the day, as always, that is just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments down below or in the chat over here. That's always appreciated. Subscribe if you're not yet. That is always absolutely fantastic. Helps the channel push forward. Become a channel member if you've not yet. It's 99p a month and you'll get this video like a day before I'm putting it out. I'm putting it out tomorrow morning from the time that I'm live streaming it. But for members, it'll be available this evening. And yeah. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, all the fun stuff. And I will see you later. I heard Natalie Imbruglia sung a song about this guy. Nothing's right, I'm Tornqvist. Off the top of my head. That was a stupid pun. See you later. And the video's done. And we are to what I like to call streaming territory. We're in the chat zone. Let me know what you guys think, by the way, on the Tornqvisty thing, because I'm quite interesting. Is Al someone who really wants games? I mean, he's only played like 246 times in 14 years. Yeah, I think, wasn't he a pretty big first choice option at Newcastle, and then they got Saudi'd, if I remember right. Let's have a quick look. I think he's often rotational. If he didn't want to play, though, I don't think he would have gone to Hull last season. And when he played for Hull, he did quite well. I think it's a case of being a perennial second choice. But I think he's got it in him to be a first choice kind of guy. At least as far as I can tell. On the Crystal question, Michael, she will be. She's been in Canada for Christmas. I don't know when the plan is to bring Leeds 101 back, but whenever she's about, I think. It'll work. Darlow's Wales' #1 has played very well for him. Yeah, that's why I'm sort of in the shoes of it would be incredibly risky for the guy that's surrounded by his Wales teammates to be dropped for a completely fresh new signing. Because he's clearly a decent player, you know? If anyone has any questions about other moves and stuff, by the way, I'm more than happy to discuss all of them with you. Because while some of it is going to be stuff that I'm not hyper familiar with, I can still have a conversation about it, you know? As you should be able to. I'm also going to see if anyone else is live in a few minutes so I can do a redirect. But I'm not convinced. When's Joe live with the Team Talks one? I don't know. Would you do the same in Football Manager and bring in a goalkeeper in January window and take a risk? No, honestly, I don't think I would. But that's because in Football Manager I always subconsciously tend to be quite loyal to my goalkeepers. Like, I'll sign one and I'll say, you're my goalkeeper now. And even for cup matches I won't really rotate them out because I'm an idiot. But that tends to be the case with what I do in Football Manager at the very least. I don't think Kelleher's realistic, to be completely honest with you. Connor's doing a live with Benjamin Bloom later. Does he have redirects on? And how later is later? Because there's no point redirecting if it's going to be that late. It's going to be at 6. I'm going to be finished way before 6. I don't think there's a point me redirecting in that case. Plus, I'd like to redirect to people that have like fewer subscribers, which I can do. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to redirect you, but not to a stream that is actively on. I'm going to redirect you to only Leeds Pros when I finish. I'm not finishing yet, but just to make sure that everyone goes over, subscribes, because I think it's, when I got started on YouTube stuff, am I as zoomed out as I can be there? That's weird. I feel a bit zoomed in. But yeah, when it comes to helping like only Leeds Bros and stuff, I'm more than happy to do that like whenever, purely because I recognise that my channel wouldn't be where my channel is if I didn't have a hand from people. So I can do the same with giving a hand to other people from my point of view, you know? I'm not trying to get rid of you, I promise. Not yet. Later. I do have things to do this afternoon, you know? I've got like an hour worth of meeting to watch. I say watch, it's because it's a recorded one, but it's the one with all the data, which makes it quite an interesting one. I'm going to do a FM stream soon as well. I don't know quite when yet. I'm not planned that much. But if anyone's got any thoughts on when to, just let me know. That's unlisted. That is now listed. No, it's not. That's now. There we go. That's the wrong thumbnail. This is going really well for me, you can tell. There we go. And then I'll set that to those. Posh. And then I need to edit my tags. Doing YouTube stuff is always really unfascinating, I imagine, for the viewer. Because I'm just sort of faffing about. But that's fine. And then I'll tag Everton in there as well. Right, I got to find out a little bit more about this Argentinian guy. Because it's making me curious. You can't be saying, oh, we're potentially signing an Argentinian international kind of guy, and then just not give me more detail. Right, that'll go members only to public at 5, so it'll be members only for an hour. Although if you're a channel member, you're probably here now when you've just seen me record it, but the Jack Harrison one is coming out soon. Never criticise Farke, but he hasn't seen how poor Melier is, then I'm going to start. I think he has. That's the thing. So I think the match against Harrogate is going to basically be an audition for any other goalkeeper. Ledesma, I know the name. Currently playing for River Plate. No, I don't see it happening. It'd be a very weird signing for us to make. For someone that's career has gone Argentina to Spain, back to Argentina. That doesn't scream someone that wants to stay in Europe for their football. Seriously though, I don't blame Melier for the whole goals. I think they were, unfortunately, he was unlucky. If I was manager, I'd back him and keep him between the 6 this season. I don't blame him on the first. The first, I 100% think is on the back line for being that open and vulnerable. The second, I don't think is forgivable at all. And that's not just a case of like technical goalkeeping stuff. That's a case of, from a purely doing goalkeeping perspective, that was bad. That was decision-making bad. And once the decision-making goes, rather than just the reaction saves and stuff, big questions. Third one, Third one is he's tried to go for the initial ball to make up for his errors. And then he's out of position for the shot, which is, again, an error in decision making. Just to warn you all, by the way, it's going to pop up with an ad in a second. The way that you deal with it is just click on the ad, swipe your way back, and you'll be back as soon as possible. The only person that loses out is the advertiser, because they need to pay more money to YouTube, who pay more money to me, only for you to get back sooner. Also, let me know who is advertising, because I'm kind of curious. Like, I want to know what is being targeted on my stuff. So it's going to run now. According to a report from Spain, they've identified a goalkeeper as a necessary signing, and it could be Ledesma. I don't know if that's a reliable site. Not reliable. That's a website that said that Ousmane Dembele would go to the Premier League. So I'm not super certain about that. Hello. Everyone be quiet about the way that I was going to redirect everyone to only Leeds Bros soon. That was called Motion. Motion? Motion to what? Motion to why? World in, perhaps? Let's get the John Barnes in, shall we? Oh, Twitter, why do you keep getting me spammed by messages from porn bots? That's really, really useful. I like it when things make sense. But I don't think it's a coaching issue. It's more of an issue of consistently poor decision making, which gets to the point where it's not super fixable. You know? Hold on. I'm just going to see if the chat box is set up on this one. That's not the camera. Where's the camera? Oh, shit. One sec. Where's the camera gone? Hold on. As you might have noticed, I've broken things. If I remove camera, add camera. Am I alive? No. Brilliant. Oh, I know why it's broken. Okay. Never mind. Okay, I can't fix that. It's a me problem. It's a skill issue. It's a Joey's stupid flaw. Which, I mean, at least I'm consistent, right? Joe's kicked himself out. Joe did not kick himself out. Was it the cat again? It wasn't the cat this time. This time it was me not realizing that cameras can't go to two sources at the same time. So to be able to do this and also stream through OBS, I've got my camera set up in StreamYard. I was trying to de-StreamYard from that process, but I've just realised I can't do that because then I can't keep pulling up the nice little banners. So basically I'm dumb. And that covers it off. It covers it off pretty effectively, actually. But yeah. Right, I don't see the Ledesma one actually being a move. Joffy going out, I can see, is very, very high potential going to happen. He was linked with, off the top of my head, Plymouth, Oxford, Cardiff, some other sides at the bottom. I can't remember who by. But he was very much screaming move likely for Joffy Gelhardt. I don't see him sticking around throughout the window. Says a loan to me. But I've also seen that apparently that's based on Pat Bamford's health, which is concerning. Be careful what you wish for. I may get a goalie who doesn't save every shot or save pens, make mistakes, etc. with mostly fans saying the new goalie's worse than Meslier. I don't think fans would say that, because I think fans are a little bit too good at being stuck to their pre-existing beliefs. I think there is no chance in hell that you would get any fans that are opposed to Meslier going, this guy's worse than Meslier, because they've already committed to thinking that Meslier is the worst thing since... If you've got the best thing since sliced bread, would it be the worst thing since unsliced bread? But then that's just the worst thing since bread, right? What's the opposite of best thing since sliced bread? Worst thing since dynamite, because the inventor of dynamite hated that he invented dynamite. Why not? I doubt there's too many temporary championship or permanent Premier League ready goalkeepers on the market in January. Yeah, this is why I'm thinking that it'll be a case of we just Darlow it. If I were Joffrey, I'd hand in a transfer request. I get that. Yeah, I do. In fact, is the chat better off? That's the wrong thing that I'm moving. What the fuck am I moving? I'm moving a colour? Okay, that's fun. Is the chat better off here, do we think? I think so. And then no matter where I am, you can still read it. I think the chat works there, as opposed to the mangle of colour that is over on the bookshelf. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, the worst thing since unsliced bread. But then again, you've got, like, rolls, which are unsliced. Thank you very much for the super chat, Football Guru. I appreciate it. We had a little bit of a chat about Tonquist, but I am firmly of the opinion that that move is not going to be happening, based on the current situation that we're in. Dubravka would be good. No, because at that point, you're just building Newcastle from a few years ago again. Okay, what way to join the stream with philosophical questions like sliced bread? I know, it's great. That's what this stream becomes. Hello, Mags. I know the stream shouldn't necessarily always be on bizarre philosophical talk, but that's where we are sometimes, you know? Am I better to do this? I am, because then the chat's in its own spot and there's no chance of me like sliding over to it. And then you've still got the break room in the top. I like it. It's clever. It's good. Is the Jack Harrison return definite? I don't think it's definite, but it feels like it will be if Everton sign Philogene. I don't see the point of Jack Harrison staying at Everton if they do sign Philogene. That'd be a problem. His deal's up at Newcastle and the summer, just use him as a loan. I doubt we'd be allowed to use him as a loan, would we? I don't think Newcastle would say, cool, he's only got 6 months on his contract, why don't we just let him go for free? Because at that case, you just keep him on the bench as backup for a while. Like, that makes a little bit more sense. Thank you very much, Devin. I appreciate that. I think it was most likely someone we inquired about with a view to someone move. Yeah, that's my thinking. Because looking at the way that things are shaped at the minute, I don't see that much potential for a goalkeeper move coming in this window. Let's have a look at Dubravka. Currently on 40 grand a week. It expires in 5 months' time. I don't know, though. Because he's going to want some certainty with any move that he takes. Wait, what are you... How would we sign Dubravka? I hadn't realised this. Saying that we'd signed Dubravka when he's played the last 5 matches for Newcastle is wild. I hadn't even noticed that. Yeah, he's their second choice goalkeeper. I get that they've got Vlachodimos and Rodi and like Pope might be injured or something, I guess. But they're not going to release the player that's played the last 5 matches in the Premier League. Joe said that Harrison's not coming back. He gets stuff right. He does, yeah. And I might be completely wrong. But I feel like if Philogene does make a move, it'd be very, very weird for Everton to keep Harrison. Especially considering he doesn't play much. Let's have a look at his recent minutes. Oh, the stats on Harrison. Sorry, I need to show you this. Jack Harrison's scouting report for the last 365 days. Look at that. That's horrific. Inexcusably bad. Might as well be a wing-back. Against other midfielders? Yeah, fine. But against attacking midfielders and wingers? Awful. I think if he does come back at all, it would be a job of, okay, go elsewhere, please. Because I don't want to be paying the guy shit off. He's on £90,000 a week. So if people are mad at the fact that we are currently paying Pat Bamford's wages, just wait until Jack Harrison gets recalled. That would be stinky. Where's his heat map? Why did we not sell him to Leicester City? I think at that point, because we're in a relegation scrap, and it felt to everyone like it'd be incredibly stupid to sell him. Whereas the reality of the situation is he's significantly worse than we thought at the time. YouTube shouting at me again, so in a minute I'll do an ad. It turns out I don't think many of you get ads. In fact, I'm going to do a poll. Did you get this ad that just ran? Yes, no, or no, I have YouTube Premium. Cool. I'm going to run that poll in a second. But let me know the honest answer. Don't piss about with it. I gotta know. I'm very curious. 1 second. Okay, for the people that are still here, you can answer the poll now. I've misspelled ad. I've spelled ad with 2 Ds. I am such a clumsy bugger. What an idiot. I'm not a fan of that popping up with the entire thing, by the way. That's weird. To be fair, a relegation team player is always going to look bad on FBref, not depending on the defending numbers only look good. Yeah, that's fair. But at the same time, it's the fact that he's also constantly being dropped. Like, sure, he started 4 of the last 5, but he was subbed off at half-time against Forest, subbed off against Chelsea, subbed off against Arsenal. It looks like a player that they don't want to have to need. So if they can get rid, I think they will. I'd be surprised if we got anything more than 2 loans this January. Permanents that'll improve us beyond next year on the Championship budget will be hard to come by, and it could be hard to shift if we miss promotion. Yeah, that's my worry on permanent signings. That's why I wouldn't go permanent. That's a good point. Rodrigo's stats didn't look bad in the relegation season, but that's because Rodrigo was something different in that year. Let's have a look at what his numbers were. I think he scored something like 13 goals in a team that went down. Yeah, 13. Let's have a look at the Premier League from that season. Score standard stats, view player stats, goals. He was the 13th highest scorer in the league. And he was only not 12th because one of them was a penalty, and Harvey Barnes didn't score a penalty, so it's on non-pen. I can't. It's weird. Rodrigo was so good for us in that season. It's just broken. Then again, it was the season that Haaland got 36, and then everyone was like, Harry Kane's washed. He still scored 30 in that season. Insane division. YouTube Premium, 13 goals and a couple of spells out. That as well, yeah. Because that was the season after he was partially broken by Jesse Marsh, because for some reason, playing him against Accrington Stanley made sense. Okay. Very smart. Very wise. It's definitely a choice. Get that Spurs keeper in Brandon Austin. There's a very genuine chance that Brandon Austin keeps playing, because he did far better than Fraser Forster. That's the guy. Which is a potential issue, because you know what? As much as I like that Premier League clubs are playing young players, I also want them. So, fuck them. I want their young players, therefore stop playing them. Only if Dalo makes proper holics in the FA Cup is there a chance we get a keeper in. Yeah, that's where I'm sitting on it as well. I think it's going to be a case of just hold station, because we've got other goalkeepers. Like Cairns, we don't know his level, but we played against him in the Carabao Cup last season, and he was very good. And Darlow consistently playing for Wales, even though, like, when he's played for us, he scared me. We're at the point where Melier scares me more. I don't see us doing a keeper. True, honestly, if the only one bringing in is 10, I think we should have more than enough. I want to say a 10 and someone that can play across the defensive line. Just for that bit more cover. Like, if we could have done Elvedi, that would have been really, really good. But it's hard to say. I'd love to see shots from outside the area. I remember when we did that. The thing is, that's not a case of us stopping doing that. That's a case of world football stopping doing that. So if I have a look at the numbers. Is shot distance on this? There should be shot distance here, but if it isn't, that's fine. Misc stats. Doesn't really matter to me. Squad passing, squad shooting. Yes, okay, cool. Oh, why isn't it averaged? I want an average. Right. I'll go to this season in the Premier League. This season in the Premier League, shooting distance on average is anywhere from 15 to 17 yards out, as an average. If I duplicate that and try and find a very, very old Premier League, let's go to, someone pick a season, 2007-8. Don't know if it'll have the data. I'll go 11-12. And then see if that differs. Because I think football in general has stopped doing long shots because they're high risk. And the introduction of like Guardiola and Klopp has meant that like riskless football is a lot more common, as a rule of thumb. That's just loaded the exact same page. Cool. I want to see past Premier Leagues, please. Fantastic. Where is there decent data? I'll try 11-12 again. Standard stats, goalkeeping, shooting. There aren't distance stats for 2011-12. Basically, as a rule of thumb, players shoot from closer in now, because they don't want to risk losing the ball. And statistically, you're less likely to concede when you have the ball, unless you're Ilham Melier. I genuinely feel a little bit betrayed by the shenanigans that happened, because like I've done so well in trying to stick by Meslier for so long. And then it all went a little bit wrong. Yeah, even compared to squad shooting in 2019-20, it's got on average a yard closer now. Teams are better at defending and blocking shots. Is basically a big part of it. What do you think of the rumours Farke eventually wants to go to 3 in the back with all the centre-back rumours? I don't know if he wants to. I think it's a spot where he'd just be happy to have the option, maybe? It doesn't feel like a... I don't know. I think you're wrong on this one, though, Danny. I think Meslier doesn't play against Harrogate. I think it'd be very weird for Meslier to play against Harrogate. 49ers, Farke and the 49ers I don't trust. Why? This is what's confusing me. What about the way that the 49ers have done things is not trusted? Because as much as people will say, all they're trying to do is asset strip the club, that would be nonsense. Primarily because if they were asset stripping the club, you wouldn't sign Rodon, Ramazani. You wouldn't pick up a significant chunk of Manor Solomon's wages. Wouldn't sign a Schmidt. You wouldn't sign a Tanaka. You wouldn't sign a Gruev. You just wouldn't. So everyone that's saying that they're just doing it for profit is a little bit weird to me. That's not how you profit. Football is not a profitable business unless you sell the club for more than you bought it for. Yeah, this John Buck, basically. We're top. We're doing okay. And the things that the manager can fix are fine. Because in terms of system, we are fucking relentless. Fun little fact, we've only been beaten on XG 3 times this season in the league. 3. Against Hull, away against Blackburn, and against Norwich. And in those matches, we lost points against Blackburn because of a penalty that was given away because of a lazy Tanaka challenge. Against Hull, because the defensive shape was all horrific for the first goal. The second goal was, frankly, unforeseeable levels of error from Meslier. Followed by the third. We're fine. I don't get it. I don't get the head loss. I think Darlow starts versus Harrogate, much against my wishes. Meslier comes back in for Wednesday. I just think Farke will back him. I don't think so. I think I'm going to find the specific quote that he said. But I think I said it on your post-match as well. But if you're saying word for word, there is no rule that a player is not dropped if my captain doesn't deliver or a centre-back, goalkeeper, centre-forward. It's not like if you score own goal after own goal, I say, no, he's an MVP, he stays in. Mellier's mistakes in that match are tantamount to own goals. And he's actively said that if people do that, there's no guarantee they stay in. No guarantee at all. I want to see Joe's face when he sees Meslier starting against Harry. I don't think he will. I think that is the perfect opportunity to have a cheeky little audition for Carl Darlow. I'd be surprised if he doesn't back him. I think it's hit the point of, okay, we change things now. I think it's at the point where he's actively seen points get dropped in real time from something that isn't just something that you can blame on a ball bounced, as was the case in Sunderland, because it hit whatever the fuck was on the floor, a divot, a sprinkler, I'm not sure, and actively changed direction. That one, still a mistake, but understandable. In this case, it was, this ball is going out of play, I'm going to scoop it back into play and they're going to have a tap in. And at that point, it gets unforgivable, and that's why I think that you said the thing about no one is safe from being dropped. Because to say that and then not drop someone is confusing. And a bit mixed messagey. Can you imagine if Darlow has a clanger against Harrogate? At that point, I think I say, can we please sign someone? I don't want to at the minute, but at that point it's a, oh shit. I don't trust them because the 49ers talk rubbish. How? What rubbish has been talked? What have they said that you find so disagreeable? Because, like, at the end of the day, they're doing a pretty damn good job as owners. We're putting on some very nice points tallies in the Championship. And if we continue at this rate, we're going to be at 95-ish at the end of the season. We're going at a very decent rate. We still have gloves in your wardrobe. I am looking for some new ones, to be fair. But I've got my old ones. These need a wash because the grip is going on them. But I do have some. I don't know. Sorry, if Darlow has a stinker, I'll do a GoFundMe where I run a stream for long enough until I can get myself some new goalie gloves, and I'll walk to Thorpe Arch myself and say, hey, you might want someone. Parag's all talk. Well, buy glove glue. I got glove glue. That's the thing. It's just the glove glue is not super consistent. And I'll be honest, I kind of need some new gloves anyway. In fact, I'm going to check One Glove right now. One Glove is a really good keeping glove company, by the way. Really comfy, real sticky. Good stuff. But also, if you're a goalkeeper, a fun little tip for you, wash your gloves after every match. It keeps them so much better for so much longer, and I completely forgot to do that for quite a while with those ones. So Burnley and Sheffield if they do the same. How do you mean? Some glove glue to Melia, he needs it. Meh. Joe B is available on a free. Oh, whoa. You my agent now? Because if so, I want that promotion bonus. Because I think we're going up. Honestly, I think we'd go without a goalkeeper. Because we don't really admit that many shots. Do I want to get me some gloves now? You guys have gotten me into a kerfuffle. You mentioned goalkeeper gloves, and I'm back into a little conspiracy spiral of, do I want more goalkeeper gloves? Right, what size are these ones? Because I spoke to someone who said that for the new ones that they brought out, I need a size up, or at least half a size up. So I need a 9.5. I've forgotten what cut this is. People that know goalkeeper gloves, can you remind me of what sort of cut this is? Might be is it a negative cut? Maybe a hybrid? This is such a weird little conversation. I'll do back fit after a couple of months, kind of like a new signing. Yeah. But also, yeah. Go for a 10. Why a 10? These are 9s. And to be fair, these being 9s from the same company, it's a little bit of a squeeze, but that's not bad for sizing. And as far as I've heard, the one that I'm looking at is just a little bit tighter, so I'm thinking a little bit more. See, this one I think is it negative or is it a hybrid? Someone that knows goalkeeping, help. I think it's a negative cut, but I'm not convinced. Look negative, yeah, I thought so. Use garden gloves, absolutely not. These look basically the same. They're negative, nice, cool. Sod it. I'm going to end the stream with a poll. Do I get the nice new goalie gloves? Yes or no? And then, if it comes to it, I will goalkeep for Leeds when things go horribly wrong. I say when, if. I think we'll be fine. Oh, thanks, guys. And ironically, they're the signature model of Martin Dubravka, which is quite funny considering what we were talking about earlier. Oh, we've got a no vote. Very interesting. My gloves are one glove. I'm getting some free pairs in the next few months. Why are you getting free pairs? Oh my god, should I reach out and be like, hello, One Glove, would you like to do a brand deal? Cheers, lads. I'm very tempted. Fine. But in exchange for that, you guys are going to have to promise to do channel membery things and like and subscribe and all that stuff. Because that way, I can justify it. Oh, if I use them on stream, I can call them a business expense. Oh my god. Did someone say goalkeeper glove tax write-off? What? I think I'd need to record a video though, in order to do so. It's a good idea. I don't hate it. Anyway, what I'm going to do is, before I bring the stream to a close, we are going to have one very, very quick trip to our favourite place where I will questions corner things up, and I'll do one answer to one question, any question of any format. I will do my best to answer it and be absolutely fantastic. And then I'll pop the stream shut. But yeah. Not making any excuses for Melio Howler against Sunderland to the game against Hull on Saturday, but he has saved us points since that Howler with remarkable saves and one-on-ones. That's true, but at the same time, I don't know what another goalkeeper could do for us. And I think it's worth giving Darlow at least a try. And hope that things don't go wrong. Did I put them in my cart? Are they in my cart? I don't know. It's not telling me. Cool. How many players do you think we get in this window? For me, one if we're lucky. I'm going to go with 2. Who gets the sack first, Lopetegui or Deitch? Deitch. I feel Deitch. I think Lopetegui gets a little bit of time. Anyway, I'm going to bring the stream to a close there. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, pop a like on it. It's always really appreciated. Subscribe if you're not yet, or become a member of the channel. That's always lovely. You get videos and stuff early, including one that's coming out in 18 minutes time, but you can watch it now. Yeah, hope you enjoyed. We'll see you later. Toodaloo.